With some of the oldest and most complex geographical formations on Earth, our Appalachian Mountains of western North Carolina have many of the highest summits in eastern America. Nearby Yancey County's Mount Mitchell in the Black Mountain Range is the highest point east of the Mississippi River. The Appalachian ranges in our state include the Blue Ridge, Black, Great Smoky, Balsam, and Nantahala Mountains. Geologists have established that our mountains are geographically identical to the mountains on the Isle of Great Britain, one and the same. Millions of years ago, when our Earth was much younger and not separated by oceans and continental drifting. This beautiful land of peaks and valleys, forests and flowers, this place we call home, was the last area of North Carolina to be settled by Scots, Irish, English, and German immigrants. They arrived with simple possessions, hard work ethic, crafty survival skills and instincts, deep faith, a love of and devotion to family, and the long-standing traditions of their people and the countries they left behind. Christmas in the Appalachians, a tradition and a celebration of the Holy One, Emmanuel, God with us, who came to earth to forever reconcile the human race to God. We still commemorate this tradition here this morning as we recall and experience the music and stories of yesteryear, many of which still endure today as we remember our heritage and old Christmas. Stone's Throw opened with the melody of three Irish jigs: Taylor's Twist, Home Ruler, and Harvest Home. Traditional dance tunes that beckon us through the open door of the cabin and into the celebration of Christmas by our forebears. Close your eyes and hear the toe tapping and the laughter. Smell the crackling fire and roasting corn. Feel their deep love for family and each other, and see the hope on their tired and weathered faces. So just why did our ancestors celebrate Old Christmas? What was this tradition? In the year 46 BC, Julius Caesar proposed a new calendar of 365 days, with the first day of the year on January 1. This Julian calendar was better for a time, but did not fully account for a year. In the 4th century, December 25 became the date for celebrating Christmas. Since the Julian calendar did have its flaws, in the late 1500s, Pope Gregory XIII felt it was time to modify leap years and get back on track with the astronomical calendar. The revisions were accepted in continental Europe, but not by Great Britain and the colonies until 1752. However, the staunchly anti-Catholic Scots and Irish, and thus the Scots and Irish immigrants settling in the Appalachians, refused to embrace the new calendar. They were not going to be dictated to by the Pope. Due to their isolation in the mountains, these pioneers continued to celebrate Old Christmas 12 days after December 25th on January 6th for many generations to come. These next two pieces, Rorate and New Christmas, are Scottish carols. Rorate is a rare 16th century Scottish carol by William Dunbar, a Scottish diplomat, poet, and Franciscan monk. Rain down the dew from heaven, for now is risen a bright day star. New Christmas, of course, refers to the new Gregorian calendar and was written by the 18th century Scottish fiddler Neil Gow, who was born nearly 400 years ago in 1727. He began playing the fiddle when he was a young child, and at age 13 received his first formal lessons. At age 18, he attracted the attention of the Duke of Atholl, who became his patron, ensuring his employment for life. What a night it must have been in Bethlehem that Christmas night, when Jesus entered the physical world in a lowly, humble stable, surrounded by the animals. Diana Stone's Christ Child Lullaby reflects the starry beauty of that night, followed by the beautiful, mysterious Celtic carol, That Night in Bethlehem. On Old Christmas Eve, young people enjoyed raucous activities, setting bonfires and going serenading, which involves shooting guns and firecrackers as well as singing. On the Isle of Man, an island in the Irish Sea midway between Glasgow and Belfast, the custom is for the Manx people to bring their own candles to church on Christmas Eve. Their decorations are very primitive, mainly consisting of huge bunches of holly and festoons of ivy. After reading prayers and singing a hymn, the parson usually goes home, leaving the clerk in charge. Then each one who has a carol to sing does so in turn, so that the proceedings continue until very late. It can become a bit rowdy, since the eligible girls fling peas at their bachelor friends. Old Christmas Day on January 6 is observed quietly with church attendance, family meals, community Christmas trees, and stockings containing fruits, nuts, and candy. Enjoy this Manx carol, When Christ Was Born. Cold and Raw seems to be the earliest name for a tune that has been popular in Scotland since the 1500s. Robert Burns, the Scottish poet, wrote lyrics to it called Up in the Morning, referring to the pleasures of arising early on a cold winter morning. It is entirely likely that many of these songs and music this morning came to the mountains with the early settlers in various forms. New music emerged in the mountains also. In 1933, while at an evangelistic gathering in Murphy, North Carolina, John Jacob Niles heard a young girl singing. He writes, "A girl had stepped out to the edge of the little platform attached to the automobile. She began to sing. Her clothes were unbelievably dirty and ragged, and she too was unwashed. Her ash blonde hair hung down in long skeins. But best of all, she was beautiful, and in her untutored way, she could sing. She smiled as she sang, smiled rather sadly, and sang only a single line of a song. The girl named Annie Morgan repeated the fragment 7 times in exchange for a quarter per performance. And Niles left with 3 lines of verse, a garbled fragment of melodic material, and a magnificent idea. The song became, 'I Wonder as I Wander.'" The breaking up of Christmas tradition originated in northwest North Carolina and southwest Virginia. Mountain people would gather in homes, push the furniture back, bring out their fiddles, banjos, dulcimers, and other favorite instruments. They would make music, dance, and celebrate the period between New Christmas and Old Christmas. Here's an excerpt of mountain poetry. "Hooray, Jake, and hooray, John, breaking up Christmas all night long. Way back yonder, a long time ago, the old folks danced the do-si-do. Way down yonder alongside the creek, I seen Sancty Claus a-washing his feet. Santa Claus come done and gone, breaking up Christmas right along." Did you know? Our ancestors believed on January 6th you should never lend anyone anything, because you would never get it back. They regarded the eve of Old Christmas, this very night, January 5, as a night when the Holy Spirit would manifest itself upon the earth in many subtle ways. They believed that no matter how hard the ground froze, that on the eve of January 6, elder bushes would sprout up out of the ground. Our ancestors believed that if a person would stay awake until almost midnight on Old Christmas Eve, then sneak quietly out to the barn or a field where the cattle and sheep were kept, they would see the animals kneel and pray. They would begin mooing and baaing and bellowing, not in their normal way, but almost as if they were crying. In the Bleak Midwinter is a Christmas carol based on a poem by the English poet Christina Rossetti. The poem was published under the title A Christmas Carol in the January 1872 issue of Scribner's Monthly. The poem first appeared set to music in the English hymnal in 1906 with a setting by British composer Gustav Holst. This next Scottish lullaby, also known as Ballylammy or Little Lamb, is a traditional Scottish carol. Sleep gently, sweet Jesus, and know no fear. Thy subject adoring will watch over thee here. God's angels and shepherds and kine in their stall, and wise men and virgin, thy guardians all. Ballylammy, Ballulalo. New music continues to emerge in the mountains and foothills even today. This next set of tunes was written in the Celtic tradition by harper Martha Hill. The first of three tunes is a hornpipe called Ferguson Cottage, named after Stone's Throw's favorite music retreat location at Oak Island. The second piece, Deerfield Jig, was written for a friend in the Deerfield retirement community in Asheville. The third and final piece in the set is the Blue Mountain March, named for home. Many rich stories and music traveled with our ancestors across the Atlantic. The Scottish Highland and the Appalachian winters could be harsh, even brutal. This beautiful tune, The Sheep Under the Snow, is about one of those harsh winters. Some of the earliest settlers in western North Carolina were the Germans, who traveled the Great Wagon Road through the Shenandoah Valley from Pennsylvania and the Fredericksburg, Maryland regions. Many were given land grants in the late 1700s for their service in the Revolutionary War as part of the German regiment. Their music and their customs were different than the Scots-Irish, but their traditions live on today. Listen now to two beautiful waltzes, Valse and Huldrevals. No doubt these waltzes would have been heard during Christmas celebrations. At the winter solstice, the Earth is tilted the farthest distance from the sun in the northern hemisphere. Days are short, nights are cold, but there is great hope. We have the assurance of increasing light. Even on this chilly, short day of December 27th, the light has begun to grow. As the winter solstice passes and new Christmas and old Christmas draw to a close until next year, we cherish the memories of those generations that have gone before us. If we don't tell the stories, play and sing the music, dance to the tunes, and write it down, how will our children and grandchildren know? Enjoy this lovely modal tune written by the duo Pennybrook, Winter Solstice. The parting glass was the final hospitality offered to a departing guest. Once they had mounted, they were presented one final drink to fortify them for their travels. The parting glass is a Scottish traditional song often sung at the end of a gathering of friends. It was purportedly the most popular parting song sung in Scotland before Robert Burns wrote Auld Lang Syne. Celebrate this season, New Christmas and Old Christmas, for the next 365 days as Stone's Throw brings you The Parting Glass and Auld Lang Syne.